And we needed to record this. Okay. So, as I was saying, this is a new semester, and I hope you have a happy semester. Oh, this photo is a little bit, here is semester, yes. And education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. And so this is a nice message for you. Yes, since you will be educators, you are educating yourselves. We are helping in this education, but you will also be educators in the future. So always keep trying, keep going beyond, yeah, and never lose your patience with learning, never lose patience with others, with yourself, and always keep thinking of your self-confidence. And this is a word we are going to also learn in the other module. What does confidence mean, and how can that help you become better learners, better language learners, and also better professionals in the future. So keep that word confidence, self-confidence in your heads. Okay, so we will go back to self-confidence, but it's a positive message for you to keep going, to keep trying, never give up, and think you're able to do this. As Phoebe was saying when she came, that you have a lot of work, many modules, but you will be able to do it. Okay, so this module, something similar to what we were doing yesterday, facilitating foreign language acquisition. I would say also learning in children, since we are working a lot in the learning area, teaching and learning. But we will reflect and think, reflect, and tell me why is the module called this way? Who would like to say something? Anyone? Krishna? Are you there? Don't fall asleep after lunch, please.
Maybe this module will give us tools to make easier the acquisition of any subject, or in this case, language.
Language, yes, exactly, facilitating, yes. So it provides tools. That's why it is called facilitating, yes. Provides tools to make learning learning of languages easier for children. For children, in this case, since we are working with that age. But remember, teachers in general, teaching in every level, need to help their students of different levels learn, and therefore they need tools to make this learning easier. Yes, this is a great answer. And what do you think is the module about then? Anyone else? Okay. Another color. Anyone?
Techniques, maybe?
Yes. Yes, technique, something practical. Do you think there will be something, also something theoretical? What else? We said tools, techniques. What else can we see?
Methods.
Yes, again,
Methods
we continue with
teach.
methods. Yes. So there is like a categorization. Remember that last year we saw theories. Yes, we saw constructivism, cognitivism. Then we saw some methods. And we saw an approach that we will go deeper into. Yes, communicative language approach. And then we saw some methods that we are going to revise also. And then within methods, we have these tools, techniques, activities. So it's like going in intrinsic circles. Yes, like a matryoshka, you know, there is a big doll, then there is another doll and another smaller doll, something like that. We will see, I will look for that illustration. So methods, yes, so we will see here methods first, yes, more methods, other methods that have been for teaching methods and techniques for teaching and learning languages, especially English in this case, okay. And some methods that have been developed and used successfully in teaching English in schools, for example. So we saw some of these methods also last semester, so we're going to revise them, and then we will go deeper into other ones. We saw two in reality. Well, you will see. You will tell me more than three. We saw three in creating, and another one in another module. So how is this module connected to other modules? We said literature, learning English through
we have a model now this semester. It's called Curriculum en Básica, en Educación Básica. So I think it's related to.
Yes, very much indeed. It is written in the presentation I wrote for Educandos. Yes, it's related to other modules in English, as I am implying here. So it's connected to learning English through children's literature, and to creating an environment. Yeah. For beginners. For beginners in English. So these are the modules it is related to in English, but there are also other modules that it is connected to. Yes, modules in Spanish, as for example, curriculum and planning. And planning, since you are learning planning in many different subjects, modules, you are also learning planning in this module. Yes, because we need to plan everything we are going to do in class, and we will go further. I have good news. I do not know whether good or bad. You will see in the lesson plan. So we will be going further with you, not only planning lessons, but also a unit. And this comes also from having a lot to do in evaluation, but also because this year in practicum, in English practicum, a group of my students had the possibility to plan and to design all of the activities in one unit with a mentor teacher at a school in Longaví. And that was a great experience for them. But as I could think at that moment, we hadn't had the time, because the last semester last year was very short, to practice planning something beyond one class. So they could plan one class, but then they had also to plan a unit. That could be 2, 3 classes, 4 classes, we can decide. So I thought it's a good idea for you to start. This semester seems to be a little bit longer. We have more consistency in our classes. We will be able to plan a unit. So planning is everything we do in planning, and you doing planning in your modules is very welcome. Yes, and in the practicum line, we have been working with the other teachers together so that we unify our criteria when teaching you about these modules. Yes, so everything is related and you can learn a little bit from everything. So what are your predictions? So I told you one thing we are going to do, but other predictions, what else are we going to do for sure? Something you know we're going to do in this module, apart from planning. Come on, it's easy. One
Many
prediction.
activities.
Yeah, activities, yes. Create activities, yes, of course. What else are we going to do? So we have two things you already know that we are going to do, and they are inherent in this module. It's not a language module like world events, but it's a teaching module. It's a module in which you have to do what? Develop. What do you have to do?
Teaching skills.
Teaching, yeah, exactly, teaching. And so in your predictions, some teaching is will be present. And what do you think? How, in which ways we have done what last semester in the place of teaching?
We did like a simulación. I no sé. Simulation.
Krishna says, learn facilitation techniques. Yes, yes, exactly. What are you going to? Yes, that's a good prediction. Create, develop activities. Yes. Learn facilitating techniques. And what else? What else? We were a long teaching. What did we do to simulate? Exactly, that's the word, simulate teaching. What did we do in literature for that teaching element?
Planning.
Yes,
Planning.
we planned an activity and then you did a video. Do you remember a video?
Yes.
With an activity, yes. So that was a video. Last semester, we did something different. What did we do in the class? Not by means of video, but we did
A plan.
yes,
a
technique
planification.
plan. Yes, a technique plan, an activity plan, and then micro teaching. Do you remember micro teaching?
Yes.
Yes, so micro teaching is teaching a section of your planning, of your activity, of your plan, if it is a complete class plan also. And what else did we do? And this might not be a surprise. What else did we do in relation to this? So micro teaching, so everything was in the class, yes? So learning, developing, thinking of activities. Micro teaching was also done among us. What else did we do that was something external, that was something new? I have forgotten.
The activity, the winter game or not?
The winter games, yes. So the winter games was that activity that I was telling you, try to put you in contact with children, something that we could have done from the very first year, but we couldn't because of the pandemic. So that was a great opportunity. And guess what? We have the second edition. Therefore, what are coming? What do we have
Summer
now?
game?
Summer game, yes. Phoebe, you are so bright. Yes, summer games. And this is something we all need as an activity that we need to do. I think it will be more demanding this year just because I don't have direct relationship with teachers of English because we don't have English practicum. So I think it would be more demanding. Anyway, children in schools where our students are doing practicum will be invited to this edition, to the new edition, the summer games. In October, I will show you the plan just a little bit around midterm, just because November is too crazy. We are finishing the semester and also schools are in their own plans, so they don't pay attention too much. So the summer games will be like kind of spring games. Earlier, I think I still have to think and make the proposal in the núcleo académico. But I think I have talked to Professor Marianela, and she was already initially in agreement. So we will have these summer games a little bit earlier, just because we proved that by the end of the semester it was crazy with schools and because of other activities schools have. And do you have any questions so far?
No yet, I guess.
No questions. So as you see, this is, I think this is a great opportunity to be in contact with children. We will try to keep these activities, not only because they're good for the career, yes, for contact with the community, but also this is a good activity for you to have contact with children. Hopefully you could have more children to work with, a little group of children for you divided in groups as well will be great, fantastic. But sometimes we do what we can, and so we will try to get advantage as much as we can of this opportunity. So you're kindly invited. And this will be part of also of all the activities we will be doing in midterm also for evaluation. Okay, so again, yesterday we talked also about the profile, the graduating profile in the career. We talked about the different areas of the modules. And you know that these modules that we are doing in English belong to Formación en la Especialidad, which is the mención inglés, this English minor that you are developing. And they, of course, try to develop your abilities to do what in general? What is the teach? Yes. So teach all of the subjects in elementary school plus, we said also, what else will you be able to teach?
English.
English, yes, exactly. And just because you have this mención inglés, this opens you the door to teach English in elementary schools. And we know that teachers along the country and a long time have been educated to teach English, yes, in lots of programs for teaching for English teachers. But teachers to be that have been prepared to work with young learners are very few in the country. So you are really privileged in having this this focus. And there are possibilities to work, let me tell you. So never disregard this possibility to keep going, learning more and more English, just because improving your level of English proficiency, just because you will have lots of opportunities to work with English. So never say this is just a burden, we have to do all of this in English, because this is a great opportunity for you. And I will tell you, so bear in mind, you will have this opportunity to teach, you might have opportunities to teach English as well. And think, for example, schools, little schools in the countryside, for example, escuelas multigrado en el campo, aquí en Longaví, they offer students opportunities to attend lots of subjects together with different grades. So for example, first and second grade, third and fourth grade. And they also, since they don't have so many teachers, they also have elementary school teachers who teach math, language, or math, science, or language and English, or science and English. So there is a lot of opportunities in which you might, there will be a lot of opportunities that you might find to use all your knowledge, the knowledge that you're developing. So keep working hard, and you will see that this is beneficial to your future. Okay, again, the profile will be also uploaded to Educandos. And in this module, we have more competencies to fulfill. Remember that yesterday our module only has the language development module only has 2 main competencies: communication in English and diversity. Whereas here, and cultural diversity. Whereas here we have more competencies related mainly to working with children in elementary school in the areas of, in the pedagogical area. So covering more than language, your knowledge to teach the language. So for example, we have competence 4. Who would like to read competence 4, which is very much related to this? Está relacionada con la especialidad de la mención inglés. Who would like to read it?
Yo.
Okay.
Aplicar los métodos específicos de la enseñanza y aprendizaje en las áreas de educación general básica, con especial énfasis en la lengua inglesa para propiciar en sus futuros estudiantes los aprendizajes esperados según los estándares pedagógicos y disciplinarios nacionales. Nivel de logro de la competencia intermedio.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so this is especially to teach English. And therefore, we will see this competence 4 very much related to standard 4 in the pedagogical standards, related to designing, implementing, creating, developing activities, as we were saying just some minutes ago, especially related to teaching English. So this is the module, one of the modules in which you will learn to do that. Then competence 5 is related to developing your knowledge of English and your ability to communicate in English. Who would like to read that one? Spanish? Anyone? Vanessa?
Me?
Catalina?
The number 5?
5, yes.
Ok. Comunicarse en inglés a un nivel de dominio conforme a los estándares internacionales según el Marco Común Europeo de Referencia para Lenguas, C1, para promover en sus estudiantes el aprendizaje de la lengua extranjera. Nivel de logro de la competencia avanzado.
Yes, well, yesterday we were talking about this one. I think it's more intermediate, upper intermediate, since you will be sitting for an exam at the level of B2. But of course, you might be still at a higher level. That's also a possibility. But at this point, we are trying to get you to an upper intermediate level in the competence in English, so that you can teach, but you can also read advanced materials in English, academic materials in English, authentic materials as the ones we have been reading yesterday for the module on different topics. And so you need to get to this level of competence development. Then 8 and 7 are related to the other area of competencies related to formación profesional. That means your education within the area of modules dedicated to elementary school teaching program. So 8 and 7 refer to, in general, to all of the modules that you can teach in the elementary school level. So anyone wants to read 8?
Me?
Paola, yes.
Number 8. Aplicar diversas estrategias de enseñanza para facilitar el desarrollo de distintos tipos de aprendizaje en las áreas de educación básica, respetando las diferencias individuales de los educandos. Nivel de logro de la competencia avanzado.
Okay. So this is within one level of advance. So strategies again to teach the subject, to teach English, but this you share with other modules that also develop some specific knowledge to teach an area in the elementary school level. For example, mathematics or language, you will also have this competence. 7 is something we also saw last semester in creating an environment. Who would like to read number 7? Anyone?
¿Lo leo el 7 igual?
Ajá, okay. 7,
Generar ambientes de aprendizajes propicios para facilitar el desarrollo de los educandos, usando el espacio y recursos disponibles con énfasis en las tecnologías de la información y la comunicación. Nivel de logro de la competencia avanzado.
Okay, so here is generating an environment. Remember, creating an environment. We did this. We repeated this a lot last semester. We will be referring to this a little bit again. The use of technology for teaching, for communicating, but also for teaching, for developing the teaching and learning process in your students. And finally, number 11, Krishna, Romina. Any one of you, can you hear me? Javiera? Girls? Any one of you who can read? Giselle?
Ya,
Ah, Romina.
¿lo leo yo?
Okay. Yes, yes.
Ya. 11. Valorar la diversidad cultural a través de los conocimientos de la interculturalidad y de la interacción con otros para contribuir a la inserción de los educandos en el mundo globalizado. Nivel de logro de la competencia intermedio.
Okay, so this is another competence that we develop in the language development modules. Therefore, you will see that this continues to increase as long as you go along the program. And of course, the idea of living in a globalized world with a lot of intercultural, multicultural contacts offer us the opportunity to develop this conscience towards respecting other cultures and other languages. And this is something we will also do in this module. So now there's time to think. Yes, and now I need to listen to your ideas to complete this, to answer to this question. How will the future elementary school teacher develop, which will be the development, yes, by the end of the program? Yes, so you, for example, when you are in 5th year attending your professional practicum, so what are you going to be like at that moment? So, but let us reflect. How do you think the contents in this module can contribute to developing the competencies leading to the fulfillment of the graduation profile? And can you express in your own words your ideas about how learning, knowledge, and activities in the module can contribute to your future profession as a teacher? So think of these elements. So you need to think how this module is going to contribute to this graduation profile, how the learning activities, the knowledge you develop are going to help you in your future profession. Or we can change the question. What is the future? What is the future elementary school teacher be like by the end of the program? ¿Cómo será? ¿Cómo será este profesor al final de este programa? Yes, so think of...
Capacitado.
Yes, the teacher will be, yes, knowledgeable, con mucho conocimiento. Knowledgeable. knowledge.
You know what to do.
Knowledgeable.
Niche.
With tools, with knowledge, well, knowledge, of course, knowledge, conocimiento, and tools. I think knowledgeable in everything, in knowledge, yes, abstract, but also tools, techniques. In tools or tools and techniques to do what?
To teach and solve future problems.
To teach children.
Which be present. Which be present in the elementary school.
Yes, children, and solve, yes. Problems and different situations that can appear in elementary school, yes. In elementary schools, yes, exactly. Yes, so you're problem solvers, but also you are designers, you are proactive individuals, yes, that create new opportunities, think of new projects, also think of yourselves as very proactive and very creative. Okay. But you will solve problems. What else did we say yesterday that you were going to develop? But let me share something with you as well. From Educandos, I will look for that for the module on Educandos. Okay, but it's here as well. It is in the PPT as well. Okay, so what else are you going to be like? How are you going to be like when you graduate? Everything you will be able to do. So here you have more competencies, abilities to develop. What else did we say we were going to develop? So we said knowledge, tools, techniques, solve problems. What else?
Teacher, can you repeat?
Design.
Yes, Catalina? What did
Can
you
you
say?
repeat? I'm lost.
Yes, so we are describing, yes, the future teacher that you are going to be like. Yes.
Yeah.
By the end of this program, what is this image? What is this description of a teacher? Yes. And all our modules now are contributing to that teacher. So with this module, we contribute with knowledge, with tools, techniques to teach language, to solve problems. Yes. What else will we contribute from this module?
Strategies.
Strategies to
learn of easy way English.
Yes, strategies to teach, yes, and help students learn, yes. So the teacher writes, this computer writes will with a capital letter, which is not a capital letter. Will possess strategies, or plenty of strategies, hopefully, to make learning easier.
Yes. How can I say facilitar? Facilitate.
Facilitate, yes.
Facilitate.
Facilitate, make easier, but that's good. This is a good and on Wednesday, tomorrow, we will listen to a professor speaking about developing language and what we are doing, vocabulary. So what we are doing is this, yes, looking for synonyms, other ways, so we increase our vocabulary, yes.
Okay.
Okay, Krishna, thank you for letting me know. So yes, so this is good. So facilitate, make easier. Okay, excellent. So we are using this synonyms. Excellent. And that is a way in which we learn more words, we learn vocabulary. Yes. So teachers will possess to make learning easier for children. What else? Teachers will possess, what else? What can you say? Just
How engage children?
engage, yes, exactly. Yes, so teachers will possess strategies to engage children, and we will be developing these ideas. We'll develop, oh, there it changed. Develop strategies to engage children, yes, to understand their levels of maturity and development, stages of development, so that children can do different things or learn in different ways or in different states, yes, or stages and levels, yes. Okay, so the teachers will develop, I repeated the word, to engage students, and so on and so forth, in learning activities. So so on and so forth, you will develop many more strategies that we will be looking at along the semester. But everything you develop, you learn, you keep with you to become that teacher you will be at the end of the program. Okay, so do you have any doubts in regards this fulfillment of the graduation profile? Any other ideas, the group? Okay, if you have any other ideas as a group, you can also mention them. But in general, that is what we are contributing from the different modules that connect among each other, as we said, as we saw, and we see in this description as well. So elementary school curriculum, lesson planning in the elementary school are also other modules that connect to our module, because we are teaching you, developing all your skills in teaching and planning and understanding the elementary school curriculum from different areas, and the different points of views of different areas. So you will develop much more, you will use the language meaningfully, also see how you can develop a meaningful communication in your students. Yes. At the same time, also analyze the language metalinguistically. So explain knowledge about the language. So it's a really ambitious module. Let us see how much we get to develop. Anyway, it's just one more step towards your final destination, and you will continue. Even when we don't have any other module like this, we will continue to develop these abilities from other modules, the language modules, for example, modules that develop language, for example, so that you never forget your strategies, your analytic abilities, your critical thinking, yes, about how to approach an activity that you want to do with children so that it is successful finally. Okay. So this description is also on Educandos. this one is the organization. So we have classes Tuesday afternoon if you want. So you have problems. Yes, there is a problem with lunch at this time. It can be flexible. We can meet earlier and do something just to take advantage of the time. But if you eat late at home, that's also a situation we need to pay attention to. So you just tell me how you organize yourselves so that you can even be eating during the class or having some tea, so that you get so that we use the time appropriately. Yes, so let us take advantage of that possibility since we are at home and we have this flexibility. I think once we have to come back to campus, we won't be able to eat in meetings on campus just because of protocols. So let us take advantage, as I say, of this situation we are living. And if you want to have some small lunch next to you while we are in class, it's perfectly possible. All right. So the lesson plan is under construction. Let me tell you, but no, this is the evaluation, but I will show you the lesson plan. There has been some changes, as I was explaining to you. There have been changes, so it is still under construction, but it will be finished by the end of this week, hopefully. But I still have something to show you. It's not at 0 level. It is in development. There were things that need to be changed. Okay. So that one is the evaluation, but again, you know how to look at the lesson plan. Here we will have the tasks for the portfolio. I haven't yes. So the portfolio is one of the evaluation items. Remember that these modules develop your abilities to become a teacher, and therefore the portfolio preparation becomes meaningful in these modules. Yeah, so you will have the tasks, you know the procedures, you will have the different tasks that we will discuss in class, do as much as we can in class so that you have the time to finish on time, and upload for feedback, and then create your portfolio. So all of these documents will be uploaded to Educandos, you know. Then we will have a participation in the forum. So there will be with numbers. So forum 1, forum 2, they are not every week, mostly when we have something to share, something to show others. If we have created an activity, here we have a series of activities. So that's another instance of evaluation. Then we have a project, which is a class plan that we will finish by midterm. That is your midterm. We will have several classes working on the plan. Yes, thinking of activities, the different moments of the class. We will also learn about the progression of learning outcomes. This is an official document from the Mineduc. And we will see how they progress from one learning outcome to the other, so as to analyze how are we going to adapt the language that we teach our students. And this will finish with a micro teaching in the second week of October. Remember that October will be probably a short month, since we have the last week we don't have a class. We have the anniversary of the university, plus a week that is not clear altogether at this point, but we might not, we don't have classes in the afternoon. That was a proposal, yes. So the micro teaching will take place finally on the 12th of October in class, yes. and we will revise to prepare the summer games. My proposal is that the summer games or the spring games take place in October around the 22nd, just because the previous Friday is Teachers' Day, the 15th. So if we do it in this week, they have a Teachers' Day. So probably we won't find the teachers. It will be a complex week. Then we have the week of the 20 or the 19th. So this will be the week in which we finally do the summer game. And the final week in October is free. Yes, we have the university anniversary. So that is the day of the foundation. So the university was founded on the 26th of October, 1981. So that's why the university becomes 40 years old, and therefore that will be a day off. And you won't have classes in the afternoon in this week, probably the whole week. We are not sure. Okay, when we finish this week, we will start with the preparation of the unit plan. And therefore we will go step by step, yes, and as a means of process writing, yes, preparing that final unit plan with 3 classes on a topic you decide, on a unit you decide from the bases curriculares provided by the Mineduc. Okay, so I am still finishing these weeks because I am still thinking whether we are doing more reading and writing. Yes, so this last unit is about this reading and writing. Therefore, we might have 2 classes in reading, 2 classes in writing, because writing is difficult for English learners. So that's what I have been writing and rewriting. Yes, but we will finish with technological resources. Therefore, I will invite a guest speaker to present on technological devices and activities for the unit plan. Yes, and finally, we will finish on the 7th of December. We will finish our unit plan and present the written version. Okay, so this is the last day to finish the written version, and we will present it on the 14th. This will not be a micro teaching. I was thinking about, we will do a lot of micro teaching by the midterm. So here is a presentation, a professional presentation. What are you going, so the topic, the area, el área, los ejes temáticos. Remember, you talk about ejes temáticos in other subjects. So you have thematic areas. You choose a thematic area and you plan 3 classes to develop that knowledge. And you will present this in class, yes, in groups. And finally, the last week, we will have the optional test in case you haven't passed, and the final grades. So we will be finished by then. So this is the chart, which I have rewritten several times, but this is the summary of all our evaluations. So we will start in the first evaluations in October with the class plan and the micro teaching, and the rest for December. And here we will finish also the portfolio with the tasks. So I think I will have a lot to read by the end of the semester. And you will be planning something that will be useful for you, hopefully for next year for English practicum. Okay, do you have any questions about the lesson plan so far?
I have one.
Yeah, okay, Phoebe. Evaluations.
The manual evaluation will be in December.
Yes, the main
Since
evaluation.
October.
October and December. Yes, because in December you finish your participation in the forum, you finish your portfolio, the unit plan, but we don't have quizzes, for example. I have to change one for the other, yes. So I think a thematic unit is more useful than a final test in this module, yes. So this is something we have tried to change in the system of evaluation. Okay, so any questions similar to what we did last semester as well? We did a quiz, remember, and a micro teaching. But this semester we will do a micro teaching and a unit plan. Okay, any other questions?
No yet, I guess.
Not yet. So again, there are some weeks there in which we will be developing probably written activities, since they are the most difficult to develop for children, for human beings in general. We know that we don't like writing much. This is not an easy skill, not even for native speakers. Yeah, so I remember being in a concurso in the United States with a teacher, with a professor. And when he came to a class, we were observing him because we were evaluating him as a future teacher. And he was just teaching some, a micro teaching. It was a micro teaching, an activity. And he said, oh, who of you, and they were all native speakers of English. And he asked, who of you would like writing? And all of the students said, oh no. So all of them were like disappointed at the very beginning of this activity because they had to write, and they had to write something very short. It was a short activity. But of course, students of all ages, all nationalities, school level, don't like writing. So probably we will develop more activities to start to make our beginners start writing. So I think that will be the focus by the end of the semester. Okay, any other questions or doubts? Well, I think you will have this to analyze. So it's a lot of work. There is a lot of group work. The plans will be all done in groups, in pairs. So I think this is really easier for you to accomplish. Many sections of the tasks are also done in pairs, you remember. Yes, questions?
About that, we are 9. So
yes, exactly. Let us keep the same organization as last year in case you want to change, you can tell me as well. Just if you want any other organization, it's okay with me. Yes. Will you continue working with Romina? Romina, will you work with the girls the same as? Okay, so
3 with 3 and
3. Yes, there is a group of 3. Exactly. So we will be able to revise this. Do not worry. And then the rest of the pairs, if you're still working together, you just let me know. And you have lots of things to do in groups. Some of the activities, the post-reading, watching activities will be in groups. The plans will be in groups. And the micro teaching. Moreover, next year, the English practicum is in pairs as well, or in 3s. Yes. So I think you have a lot of work to be done with classmates. So you cannot complain in that.
Teacher, but
yes,
it is probably, I don't understand that you said no, but se puede de 3, 3 y 3 para que todas estén del mismo.
But remember that, Catalina, since we are working also with micro teaching and the summer games, we will need more groups just to divide the children. Yes, yeah. So I was thinking of that so as to have more flexibility. Next year, moreover, you will be working like this, in pairs. The idea is that you work in pairs. If you are uneven, then we can have one group of 3. But you will be working in 2s.
Okay.
And then by the end of next year, you will be working alone, probably for the first time. So you go like step by step. Okay, so the color coding that I always explain to you through the lesson plan. So we will see each week, which is the activity to be developed that week. So you know that. And the regulations, of course, this is a synchronous class. You will be working for portfolio. Remember that whatever you don't do on time, then it accumulates. And you can follow each step in the lesson plan. Okay, so I think if you have any other questions and answers. If not, we can have a short break now before beginning unit 1. So we go to the restroom or we look for something. So yes, Catalina, I am reading your question. Yes, we can have one group of 3, but the rest need to be 2s. This is how you will be working also next year. And remember, you need to learn to work with people as well. It's something that we are not born knowing how to do. So it will be up to you to decide whether we change that arrangement, those groups, those pairs that you already have. So the first unit, as we were just revising, so the section of the class we will start with unit 1, communicative language teaching. And as I was explaining at the beginning, this is a very big umbrella term to cover methods, and some of which we have seen, we have read about last semester. Oh, nice here. So communicative language teaching includes lots of methodologies to work with English language teaching, for example. And we will go a little bit deeper into this concept. So a revision first, time for revision. Do you remember what we saw last semester? A little bit, a lot.
Vocabulary.
About the communicative language teaching and the methods. Theories, yes, Krishna talks about theories.
Different
yes.
periods too, like
Theories.
silent period.
Yes, so different theories, yes. And within communicative language teaching, we saw some methods. Do you remember them? Just for you to remember: active learning, content, CLIL, and task-based. Okay, so we will revise and we'll decide, the wheel will decide what you are going to talk about. Yes, so let me share my browser where the wheel is. So the wheel, so in this website, you can create your own wheel with your own content. Yes, and this wheel is about the different methods for teaching English. Oh, okay, so I didn't want to do that. Okay, so the wheel will decide. Okay, so the wheel goes, and anyone starting with Phoebe. What is the concept of task-based learning? Do you remember?
I think so. The task-based learning is like a structure of give tasks to students.
Yes. So you
Something
give
like
a
that.
task. Yes, so you organize a task with a structure. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
In which students needed to solve certain steps, solve the problem of vocabulary, for example, learning how to put phrases, sentences together about the topic, and then they could solve the task. Yes, excellent. Excellent, Phoebe. 1 point for Phoebe. Next one, who's next? Tell me the person who wants to participate, and then we'll decide for you. Who's next?
Me?
Okay, Catalina. Okay, let us see. What does the wheel have for you?
Que salga active learning.
Clean.
Oh, I
But it's
don't remember exactly what is the method.
Yesterday we were talking about clear. Soft clear, hard clear. Here you have content and language.
Integrated learning.
Integrate. So you integrate what?
That the students take attention of the different activities. Maybe teacher, I don't remember.
Okay, so students pay attention to the content, learn content.
Maybe
for example,
group work, activities in group work.
Yes, but for example, here, this module, yes? So you learn about content, about methods, theories, techniques, and you learn, what else?
A language.
Language, English, yes. So this is a clear module, and it was divided in soft and hard. So this is a hard clear module. You learn content in English. The medium of instruction is English, and you need to learn in English. Yes, the concepts. Whereas in world events, it's a soft, clear module. You're learning, you're developing skills, learning vocabulary, learning grammar, and you will be speaking about a topic. Yes, but the topic is not more important than the language. So here, this is a clear subject, a clear module with a hard clear view. For example, that happens when you go to another country. So imagine I learned research methodology in English. So for me, it was a clear module that I did. Yes, it was clear, it was hard clear. And now, whenever I have to do research or write about research in Spanish, I do not know the words, the vocabulary in Spanish. I have to learn new words, a new vocabulary, because I learned in English, in another language. So that can happen, yes, and vice versa. Things that we have learned in Spanish, then we, we have that vocabulary, that content and language. Yes, what we did before CLIL was in place was just to teach isolated vocabulary, isolated topics, grammar, a lot of grammar, but we didn't integrate them into a content. So the concept of CLIL came to unify. We had something like content-based. Sometimes you're going to find it. That was the old version of CLIL. And what they wanted was to join together content and language. And we tried to do that at school at the beginning of the 2000s. And my students used to ask me, but for example, we learned about apartheid in South Africa in English. And they said, they used to ask me, but this is English, not history. And I said, no, we shouldn't divide them or separate them. Why? Yes. So more and more, the idea is to join content and language. And you will see that even the bases curriculares for elementary school children are divided into content, yes, into topics, content, and the integration with the integration of language. Okay.
But teacher, I have a question related with this methodology.
Yes.
Is used in Chile? CLIL.
CLIL, Well, it depends. It depends. In many countries in South America, since the 2005, 6, 7, it started to be more used. There are schools, English-speaking schools, probably in Santiago, have the system IB, the International Baccalaureate system. And those are modules, subjects students learn in English. For example, math, art, history, I think. Yes, are learned in English. And so they sit for an international exam. Yes, this is done in many countries in the world. Yeah, exactly. And in modules, in English teaching programs, of course. Yes, because you learn content through English. Okay, another person, Giselle, or I don't know, Paola, are you here? Okay, one more wheel. Goes round. Oh, again, no, clearly we have already done. Oh my gosh. So we did task-based, CLIL, and, okay, this is something new. Okay, Phoebe was talking about task-based. What was the role of the teacher in task-based learning?
The role, I guess, is make understand the students how complete
How to
the
complete?
task.
Yes, so it's a guide. It's a guide for students to know how to complete the task. Yes, exactly. It's an organizer of activities, but it's not the central of the activities, not the core of the activities. Okay, so I think we revised, but we have another slide in which we can revise much more. And that is this one. Okay, and remember we had, for example, the role of the teacher, the role of the student, which activities, yes, which elements you could include, for example, in active learning. Yes, Catalina, for example, we said that that all of the skills are developed in active learning, writing, reflecting, reading, listening, speaking, all of the skills. But for example, something that we should not include were lectures from the teacher. So the teacher speaking for long periods of time, that was not included in active learning, for example. Okay, what kind of activities would you include? Anyone else who did active learning can answer?
I'm sorry, what teacher?
Using the space.
Yes, activities used in active learning.
Debate.
Yes.
Group work. Kind of use, like Phoebe said, use the space. Movement. Every time.
New spaces, for example, outside the classroom could be.
Oral presentation.
Yes. Oral presentation, yes. And above all, because in active learning, you were all the time doing something, producing some kind of a result or task. Yes, exactly. And
I guess it's like active learning is like students are doing are touching and moving all the time.
Yes, moving, but in order to learn something new. Yes, to create something, to design something. Yes, oral presentation. Yes, students move to learn something new, to produce something, not to produce, but to create something, let us say. To learn something or to design something new. Yes. Okay, and language is used related to what we were saying in CLIL. Yes, Catalina says presentations, group work. Yeah, exactly. Why do you use the language in active learning? Do you use it for analysis of sentences, subject, verb, predicate?
Communicate with them between them.
Yeah.
The use of language have to be simple and
For communication, yes. Yes, simple and
to give them support only, not to interfere.
to support, yes.
And didactic.
To support students. Yes, yes. So the language is used as a support, as communication, yes. To learn something new, not to learn about the language itself. Because I was taught German in a way, for example, that we needed to learn grammar. Yes, so language was to teach grammar only and to analyze the metalinguistics of the language, not to communicate. So this is the new airs brought by active learning and CLIL and task-based and content-based. But yes, language is a means to carry out didactic activities. Yes, we can say, we can explain. A means, un medio. Not to study it itself. Yes, so I learned German by learning the grammar of the language, not to carry out communication, for example, to carry out activities. No. I learned this was a subject, this was a noun, a verb, the position in the sentence. So I only learned metalinguistic. De metalinguistic analysis, ¿sí? Un análisis metalingüístico de la lengua. Okay, the same, very much the same happens with content and integrated learning and task-based. Phoebe was saying that the kind of activities is, or the use of language, elements to be, it's a structure, yes. This what Phoebe was explaining in the wheel. It's a structure to divide activities, to solve or to carry out a task. So the task-based produces a structure to divide the activities, and so students are not lost doing this or that, but they have a kind of a support, a kind of structure to solve a situation in order to carry out. Sorry. To carry out a task. Okay. Anything else that we remember about this? It is easier then to think what is not included. I was giving you some examples. Lecture. Yes, communication problems, where I mean failure in communication. Yes. What else is not included? In
CLIL or task-based learning?
In both, they can be similar. Or do you think what is included or not included?
Teacher,
Yes.
In task-based learning, elements not to be included may be consistent on activities realized.
Pardon, Catalina, of activities realized.
Let me, give me a second, please.
Yes.
I will.
So included or not included, which is simpler for you to think of.
To divide activities. In my
Summary.
in my guide of last semester, I found, I don't know how can I say, but I find la tabla la encontré. So I read that I wrote last semester consistency on activities realized, coherencia en las actividades realizadas. Eso escribí.
Consistency.
Yes.
Yes, consistency. Okay, consistency in activities. Yes. For example, if I do a debate, I do a group work, yes, and I do oral presentation for oral. They are all related. They are consistent. So I don't do a debate and analysis of sentences, for example. That's not consistent. Yes, that is what it means. Work in space. Yes, and so consistency, yes. So all of these activities should be around the same kind of, or around the same philosophy, let us say. Knowledge passive, yes, in task-based, yes. Passive knowledge, yes. Just sitting down there and not doing anything. Yes, that's not possible in any of these. Yes.
In clear methods, I remember there were two types, hard and soft, or not?
Yes, okay, hard and soft. That's what we were, yes. Hard and soft clear, I was explaining. And do you remember there was explanation in which we divided, for example, the different classes, the different modules. Yes, and the same we can do this semester. Yes, hard clear and soft clear, which was the explanation I was giving you yesterday. Our module on world events is soft clear or hard clear?
Hard.
World events.
World events. Softly? Why?
Soft clear, yes.
But I don't know why.
Yes. What did we say that we were learning in that module? ¿Qué dijimos que vamos a concentrar nuestro aprendizaje?
Grammar, vocabulary.
Yes, so we're learning language. Yes, language development. Do you remember from yesterday? Language development. Grammar. Yes, the vocabulary, the development of grammar, vocabulary, reading skills, listening skills. Okay, what else are we learning? And everything, well, pragmatic, semantics. Catalina, I say the activities. Yes, work, exhibitions. Yes, exhibitions. I like that one, exhibitions, because it's like real life. Yes, activities. Yes, excellent. Exhibitions, presentations, micro teaching. Remember, micro teaching. That's part of all our hard clear modules. And then hard clear, which is a module based on hard clear. We did We have been doing 3 so far.
In hard clear, in all of our modules.
Almost all, almost.
Hard
Creating,
clear, yes,
creating an environment. Yes.
preparation of the exam, el examen B2.
That's hard or soft?
Ay, es que estoy perdida. I'm lost with the hard and soft.
Well, pay attention to the contents. Yes. Contents. Look. So contents in soft clear is language development, skills development.
All skills.
Yes, so speaking, reading,
Okay.
grammar, knowledge of grammar, vocabulary, syntax.
Maybe in Harkley we are using the language or no?
Yes, to learn some content. Excellent,
other
Phoebe.
content.
Other contents. Dating, acquisition, language acquisition. Yes, because look at them. Language acquisition. Look at the names. Yes, language acquisition. Of course, there are longer names, just for short. But here is English. Yes, if you look at the name, here you're learning English, all of the elements of the language. But here you're learning content. Which content did you learn? Well, you told me already last semester. What did you learn?
Teaching?
Theories. Do you remember theories
Theories.
of learning? Teaching methodologies. Yes, Catalina? Techniques.
We said something.
Yes.
Or
Yes,
no?
Yeah. Did you say anything? Did you say anything?
No, es que escuché a Phoebe en delante y dijo Catalina.
Phoebe or Catalina, anyway.
Uh-huh.
Okay, are you clearer? So, on the one hand, all of these modules develop knowledge of some content. Yes, for example, theories, methodologies, yes, techniques. You learn, for example, about the silent period.
Strategies.
Strategies, yes, strategies. For example, the silent period, the critical period, we will see next year. Mistakes in learning English. So different concepts through English, by means of English. But in these modules, English through world events, through cultural studies, and many others you have along the career, you are learning language. Yes, knowledge of language, oral English also. Those contents belong to this group. Yes, so you're learning language. Here you're learning content about something. It can be, in this case, it's methodology, but it can be whatever, math or science even. Okay. Do you understand now?
I think so.
Hard and soft clear. So along the program, you will have all of these different kinds of modules. Yes, whether it is hard clear or soft clear. Right. And in this semester, you have these 2 examples. Yes. World English through world events and facilitating language acquisition. So you have 1 and 1. But you have B2, preparation for the exam. So Catalina, $4 million. Is that module hard, clear? Are you learning methodology? Are you learning?
What module? This module?
No, preparation to sit for the B2.
No. It is soft clean.
Ah, okay, you're learning language.
Give me the money.
Plus test skills, yes, how to take a test even, yes? So skills in general, reading, writing, listening. Okay, language, grammar, vocabulary. Okay, so then you have the practicum, for example. Practicum will be around hard clear. There we develop more knowledge about items, concepts related to teaching, to mistakes, correction, to critical periods, etc., etc. So again, it's hard clear. And you will have still more modules on soft clear, learning English. Okay. So, but we have revised that from last year, some activities, and we will go further this semester in learning more about other methods within communicative language teaching, which is this big umbrella within language learning. So now we have this video, but you have a task to accomplish, yes? You will read the questions. Yes, I will show the questions to you in the second listening. And you need to listen to the video and take notes. Yes, so Dr. Richards explains about communicative language teaching. What does it mean? What does it argue? What is it in favor of? What's the focus in the classroom? Yes, because all of these methods we have been talking about belong inside communicative language teaching. Yes, this is an umbrella. ¿Sí? Ustedes han escuchado umbrella term, es un concepto que es como un gran paraguas, y dentro, debajo del paraguas están las metodologías. Yes, this is the idea. So there is a focus in the classroom. There are activities. Yes, you have seen activities. And he mentions activities and other methods. Yes, so he mentions some methods. Some are related to this, but you have to listen. Okay, so it's something you know. Pay attention that this is soft skill, listening skill. You need to always refer to what you know, to some concept. Yes? So whenever you're going to read about something, listen about something, you need to pay attention to what you know. So you know a little bit of communicative language teaching and the methods. You know about activities. You know about other methods that can occur also within communicative language teaching. So focus on everything you know. Is that clear?
Yes,
Okay.
but that task, for when is it?
It's now we are going to listen. Yes, and we
Okay.
discuss. So we are going to listen and we discuss. I hope you can listen. Only let me. Can you hear?
No, you're not sharing the sound.
Okay. Let me. Okay. Here. Okay. Can you hear now?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
now we can.
Take notes. Take notes.
Hello again. Today I'd like to talk about communicative language teaching. It's an approach to language teaching that's been around for a long time, and indeed many of my books are based on the philosophy of communicative language teaching. So I'd like to just try to explain what it means. It's an approach which developed as a reaction away from exclusively grammar-focused approaches to teaching that really gave priority to accuracy and to the sentence as the unit of presentation and practice in the classroom. communicative language teaching argues, of course, that the goal of language learning is communicative competence, and that we develop communicative competence through making communication the focus of the classroom, that we learn language through communication, that language is the byproduct of using language to communicate. And in order to do this, activities have to be developed that enable students to practice communicating in different ways according to their language proficiency level, through tasks, through focusing on role plays, through information sharing activities, and activities of that kind which require students to draw on their communicative resources and to try to make communication possible in the classroom. So communicative language teaching is essentially a set of general principles that refers to how communication can be the focus of teaching and learning, and which attributes the acquisition of communicative competence to providing opportunities for students to practice communicating through their classroom materials. So communicative language teaching is alive and well today. It's taken different forms in recent years, and in some contexts it's led to what we call task-based teaching. In others, it's led to text-based teaching, and others it's led to content-based teaching, which I'll talk about in other podcasts. But the principles of communicative language teaching, I think, are alive and well and still important for us to consider today. Thanks for listening.
Okay. So could you hear Dr. Richards speaks about many things we have spoken here? What has he said about this?
He mentioned the activities that provide the communication in other language. He mentioned role plays, for
Role
example.
play,
And
exactly.
also he said that the
Yes.
communicative language teaching is essential and provide many opportunities.
Yes, it provides many opportunities for, and he uses one word that is here. We also already mentioned. Language is used for
communicate.
For communication, yes, communicative language teaching. Language is used for communication. And he says it's not used for grammar. And there is a picture of a boy doing a grammar exercise. So that's what we did in the past when I was an adolescent learning grammar, learning German. It was grammar exercises. Yes. And so, so this is very important. So can you, we can listen to that again. And now do you think you can answer the questions? Focus, you will be reading. And there is a focus in the classroom. So what is the focus? We have just said. Which is the focus?
Listening skill.
No. In communicative language teaching.
Grammar.
Grammar? What did we say is the focus? What is language used?
Communication focus.
Yes,
I heard the video, I heard grammar focus.
Because he makes a comparison with the past. Yes, the past, the grammar translation. Yes, so communicative language teaching comes after the grammar translation method that I am explaining to you. I used to go to classes in the 1980s that taught German through grammar. Yes, so that was an old methodology approach. Yes, and so communicative language teaching tried to change that grammar focus to, which is the focus now, we said, everyone? Communicative language teaching focus?
Communication.
It's communication. And therefore, all of the activities that foster communication. Therefore, yes, role plays, and there are others. He mentions, probably you do not know exactly the name, but I will try. So you can write more things. And he mentions methods. Phoebe, which method he mentions? Something you know about?
Mm, uh,
He mentions 3. One is based. The one
I
that,
forgot, teacher.
the one you were talking about, Phoebe.
That's based learning.
Task. Have you heard
Ah,
task?
but that there are theories or no? Or,
No,
or
methods.
Ah, okay.
No, the theories are constructivismo. That's a big theory.
Ah,
Big theory. Yes. So task-based, he mentions another one, which is text-based. I am not sure of that one. Text-based. And there is another one that you can understand on your own. Text-based, I help you because it's not easy, so easy. Okay, second, listening. And remember, we are always also supporting the other modules in which you have to do listening. We will always listen twice and you need to take notes, okay? So we listen again, but let me check if I can play it. How can I play it? But just keep the questions. So I will copy them in the chat, because I'm not sure whether it will allow me to share with you. Okay, so in the chat, you will have the questions. Yes, role play. Yes, someone mentioned, yes, Catalina mentioned role play when we were doing the chart. So yes, Dr. Richards also mentions role play. Okay, this is very well known. Okay, so again, we listen to Dr. Richards, and now you can answer more questions, hopefully. Can you hear? Can you hear?
yes, we can.
Okay.
Hello again. Today I'd like to talk about communicative language teaching. It's an approach to language teaching that's been around for a long time, and indeed many of my books are based on the philosophy of communicative language teaching. So I'd like to just try to explain what it means. It's an approach which developed as a reaction away from exclusively grammar-focused approaches to teaching that really gave priority to accuracy and to the sentence as the unit of presentation and practice in the classroom. Communicative language teaching argues, of course, that the goal of language learning is communicative competence, and that we develop communicative competence through making communication the focus of the classroom, that we learn language through communication, that language is the byproduct of using language to communicate. And in order to do this, activities have to be developed that enable students to practice communicating in different ways according to their language proficiency level, through tasks, through focusing on role plays, through information sharing activities, and activities of that kind which require students to draw on their communicative resources and to try to make communication possible in the classroom. So communicative language teaching is essentially a set of general principles that refers to how communication can be the focus of teaching and learning, and which attributes the acquisition of communicative competence to providing opportunities for students to practice communicating through their classroom materials. So communicative language teaching is alive and well today. It's taken different forms in recent years. In some contexts, it's led to what we call task-based teaching. In others, it's led to text-based teaching, and others, it's led to content-based teaching, which I'll talk about in other podcasts. But the principles of communicative language teaching, I think, are alive and well and still important for us to consider today. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
Teacher,
Yes?
how can I say, ¿a qué se refiere?
What does it refer to?
What he refers to?
What does he refer to?
What does he refers to classroom materials to
Classroom
our
materials.
communicate with the
Classroom materials. What are classroom materials? For example, if we were in the classroom now, we will have
the word walls or no?
word walls, yes, worksheets. So for example, in the classroom, we will have the worksheets with a task and the listening activity to complete. Yes, exactly. That's the materials. So printed materials, word walls, yes, of course, visuals, or realia, everything we use in the classroom. Yes, exactly. Videos, yes, audiovisual, books in general, yes, printed materials in general. So could you listen to anything else that caught your attention? Which activities? Role plays, he says something that is like information sharing. What does mean information sharing? What does it mean? What do you do in these activities?
Maybe when children investigate something and they share the...
Exactly. Remember that last year you investigated about CLIL, task-based active learning, and you shared information. So that is a kind of activity that develops communicative language teaching, and role plays and debates. Also, he doesn't mention them, but you have already mentioned. You can listen to this again and finish other sentences, but do you remember of anything else he mentioned? He mentioned something related to CLIL, I think, but he mentions another word. What does he mention here? Similar to CLIL. What other method?
I just remember that if we want to learn another language, we need to use it to learn it.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Yes, so what does communicative language teaching argue? Yes, to use the language communicatively to learn it. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And he mentions something similar to CLIL, content-based. And content-based was like the old, the older brother of CLIL. Content-based teaching. They wanted to do the same as with CLIL, but then they rename it content and language integrated learning. But the brother, the cousin is content-based. You might find this in your readings. That's why I mentioned this. Okay, activities, we have mentioned the focus, and then what does it mean? You can listen to that again and write it for you to practice. Yes, and how is his definition? And he uses a very, very big word to define communicative language teaching. It's like theory, but still more general, about like very general. He uses a word that goes beyond. So if you think that the smallest element is an activity, yes, a technique, a tool, but that's within a method, that's within an approach. The approach is within a theory. What is still bigger than that? He mentions like a big word referring to theory. So listen to that again, and we will mention again, we will revise that on Tuesday. Is that clear?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, so here.
Watch the video again.
Yes, again, exactly.
Okay.
So going from very, very big Yes, too small, I have mentioned, or very small to big, but that the bigger word. So communicative language teaching is that big concept. Probably not so big, but anyway, it goes back to theories in which you use the language, yes, to communicate, to learn. Therefore, you are using a constructivist theory. You participate actively. Yes, you share information. You design things together. You build up something together with others. So, we are within the most contemporary theories and methods of teaching a language. Okay, so now I will present to you the task, which the idea is that we start, you start discussing now in class, and we have some roundup, and then you finish for next Tuesday. But because we had a long introduction, you will have less time to dedicate to the task. Anyway, I hope you can do it. If not, we finish next class. But we will try to finish the most salient sections of the task, so you have that accomplished for next week. Okay, so the beginning of the task is communicative language teaching, task 1. How did you learn English in the first year of pedagogy program? I think we have already discussed this, or for example, in your elementary school, remember that photo that in the video, he shows a boy doing an exercise on grammar. And if you ask me, when I was an adolescent, I learned German by means of grammar, just doing grammar exercises, for example. How did you learn when you were in elementary school or in secondary school? Do you remember that?
By guías.
Phoebe, how did you learn?
Music, in my case.
Vanessa, by?
Music.
With music. Oh,
Yeah.
you were very...
And in series movies.
In series. But in the school, in schools?
At school was kind of nothing because our teacher speaks us in Spanish. So
Spoke in Spanish, but he
I
or she
learned like nothing.
tried to teach you vocabulary, sentences.
Yeah, the rest of my classmates who didn't care the language, she speak in Spanish.
In
But
Spanish.
for me, kind of time when she has time, she speak to English to me.
Okay.
And try to make me more kind of task to learn more.
Okay, but generally these classes in Spanish were focused on learning grammar, sentences. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that was an old way of teaching. And most of us learned like that. I also learned like that. Anyway, we learned, but it's another way. Yes, we are not discussing which is better than the other. Then you will think, because you have them, we will have some examples, you have them in the task also. You will think of activities in which you participated. For example, Vanessa says, or I tell you, yes, we learned in German all of the verb tenses. So do you remember, probably you did this in Spanish, learning long lists of verb tenses and the declensions. Do you remember learning like that? When I was in secondary school, we learned the names of the verbs. So, presente del español. Yo amo, tú amas, él ama, nosotros amamos, vosotros. Do you remember? Have you done this at school? Probably.
No, I remember they make us remember the how can I say it? For example, walked, and
yes, exactly the same. Yes, repetition, drilling of verb forms. Yes.
Yeah.
Walk, walked. Talk, talked. Yes, the same we did in Spanish. Yes, the list of verbs. Well, the same I did in German. Lists and lists of verbs. How do the verbs finish in the first person, the second person? Exactly so that's an activity we participated in schools. Yes, for example, just to give you an example. Yes, and in learning English, as Vanessa said. Then you will analyze whether these activities were used for authentic communication, grammar like passive voice, conditional. Yes, exactly. Passive voice and structure. And I used to teach you also grammar last year, some grammar exercises with a structure. Yes. So for example, I walk plus ed, I walked in the park yesterday. Yes, the structure. Yeah, those exercises, exactly. So then you will analyze whether these activities were used for authentic communication with a communicative purpose or a metalinguistic analysis. And this is what I was mentioning before. Metalinguistic means the act of understanding, explaining, analyzing the structure of some linguistic element aside from its meaning. And this is what we used to do in grammar. Yes, in grammar, when I studied grammar at university, we studied the structures of the language. Yes, as I said, yeah, this is the past, the present, the past perfect, the past perfect progressive. Yes, and the structure of sentences. Exactly that. So we learned metalinguistic analysis of the language, but not necessarily communication in the language. Yes, of course, then everything is put together and you communicate thanks to having learned grammar, for example, or oral English. So in oral English, you're focusing on the pronunciation of words more than mostly communicating something, or not only communicating, but also form. Yes, the metalinguistic analysis. Yes, if I have a vowel that is pronounced at the back of the word, like class, for example, then I will have a certain combination of consonants. Yes, something metalinguistic that is not communicative, but it's an analysis of the language. Yes. All right. Or for example, in oral English, if the sound is plosive with your two lips, then it is voiceless. So that's an analysis of the sound, but this is not communication. This is an analysis. Okay, so we used to learn that at university. Yes, the analysis of the sounds, the analysis of the position of the tongue in the mouth, or the analysis of grammar, for example. Okay, so those are metalinguistic knowledge of the language. Okay, so here we have some examples, but you will have to add more examples. Yes, so for example, if children translate a list of words from Spanish to English, what are they doing? Are they doing an activity for authentic communication in real life? An activity with communicative purpose to communicate something new, for example, or a metalinguistic analysis? So translate these words: mesa, table; silla, chair; puerta, door. What kind of analysis is this, or what kind of activity is this? Is easy, it's done for you. Authentic, communicative, or metalinguistic?
Communicative, no.
No.
What is the other option?
Authentic.
Metalinguistic.
Yes. Authentic. ¿Es auténtica? Authentic?
No, I
No.
don't think so. Metalinguistic.
Metalinguistic. Yes, it's knowledge of vocabulary. Yes, exactly. So, metalinguistic, yes, metalinguistic analysis is an analysis about the language, not communicative. I'm not communicating. I am analyzing some structure, yes, some knowledge, or transmitting some knowledge of the language. Yes. So this word mesa is table. So that is a metalinguistic analysis. Okay. Nothing is good or bad. We're not referring to that. It's only what kind of activities do we do and we might see in the classroom. So think. Children show a picture of the mother and describe her. Yes, we used to do that at school. You bring, my students brought a family photo and they describe the photo. What is this? Authentic, is communicative, or is metalinguistic?
Communicative. I guess.
Yes, communicative, excellent. You're communicating something new. Excellent. Whenever you brought your analysis, for example, this chart, for example, if you had, Catalina had completed this chart and showed it in the classroom. So he's just communicating knowledge, some information, sharing information. That's communicative. Very good. It's not authentic because this is a classroom activity. Yes, it's classroom, not authentic. But it's communicative, communicating something new. Yes, so Catalina communicated about this, something that others didn't know, for example, or Phoebe about task-based, something that others didn't know. Okay, then the teacher asked children in English to come to the front of the room for story time. Like Amy, do you remember teacher Amy calling the children were sitting around her to tell a story? What is that? Is that authentic? Is that communicative? Or is that metalinguistic?
Communicative.
Communicative.
Mm,
But
is that communicating
he's
something?
telling a story, and it's
The
the past
storytelling
of his own could be authentic. No,
authentic, yes, because the story time, Vanessa, you point out very well, a story time is communicative. The teacher communicates a story, yes, and the children also communicate back according to, participate, yes, according to different situations. We know that. But when the teacher asks the children come to the front, that is not, is communicating something, but she's using an authentic, the language in an authentic way, because she's the same I would tell someone in the street, for example, or in everyday life situation. Children, come here, or a policeman can also call us, no, people, don't go there, come here. And that is an authentic situation. Yes, that's an authentic situation. When children used to, or when we used to teach children, for example, to ask for permission. So, Miss, may I go to the bathroom, to the restroom? So that's an authentic use of the language, because children will have to ask for permission in other situations as well, in a museum, for example. Yes, if they go to a hospital for a visit, let us say, and they need to go to the restroom, they will need to ask for permission. So those are authentic uses of the language that we use in the classroom as well. Okay, and children listen to songs. Here is Vanessa listening to songs or doing mimics like in the winter games, following the songs. Is that is authentic, is communicative, or is metalinguistic?
It's metalinguistic.
Is there an analysis of the language there? As children were saying authentic?
I guess so, because if doing mimics, so it's not analyzing, it's not communicating, nothing. So
yes, I would say it's authentic, because I listen to music. I prepare classes and I listen to music. Yes, that listening to music to songs is an authentic activity, and doing mimics, following the song, vocabulary like head and shoulders, knees and toes. Probably it's not so authentic. It can also be a mixture of communicative, mentioning or communicating. I understand the vocabulary of the song. Yes, when the children point to the body parts, they show communication, they show understanding in that sense. Okay, another activity we can add, because you have to add more activities in your task on the worksheet. So one more we can do together, so you have this done. And we will divide in groups for you to analyze the task.
Can you repeat this?
One more activity. You have to add more activities in the task. Sí, en la tarea van a tener que agregar más actividades de la clase. So now let us add one more here for you.
¿Nosotros la agregamos?
Yes,
O
you have to add. You have to add. But here, which other activity can you add here that you did in class with your teachers? What else?
But any metalinguistic
Any you have done a real activity you have done in class.
maybe children write sentences related with present simple, for example. Or no, I like, or this is my mom, because this is related with elementary school.
Repeating the vocabulary, the word I like. Yes, I like pizza. The structure. Yes. We do that. We did that. We did that. Don't laugh. We did that. I like, yes, pizza. I like, and we did like this. We used to teach children like this. I like, yes. And they needed to repeat vocabulary. So these drilling exercises, what do you think? Focusing on structure, not communication, the structure of the language. What is that? Authentic, communicative, or metalinguistic? Metalinguistic. And we used to do the same in Spanish. So they taught me the list of verbs. Yo amo, tú amas, él ama, nosotros amamos, vosotros amáis. And then the past, simple. Yo amé, tú amaste, él amó, nosotros amamos. The other preteritum, yes. Yo amaba, tú amabas, él amaba. Okay, so those repetitions, those drillings, yes, at the same I did in German, were related to a knowledge that is about the language. Yes, so they try to focus the learner in to make the learner focus on the form, on the correct sentences, yes, and the use of verbs. And in that way, you became knowledgeable of like an analysis of the language, yes, but probably you didn't know to communicate, how to communicate, only to analyze the verbs, the past tense, the present, the present tense, or the correct structures, yes, subject, verb, object, subject, verb, object. Okay, so in the task, while you read, you will choose resources. Yes, so you have here a list of resources. You have videos. You will have a Dr. Richards. Yes, we have just listened to him about a chapter from him, Communicative Language Today, and some other materials to read. And you will complete, yes, summary of the most important. Yes, you can be done in pairs. Yes, so you have more support of your classmates, and analyze the communicative language teaching similar to what we the similar way that we analyze the methods. Yes, but now we go to the bigger picture. Yes, from the method to the approach. So communicative language teaching. But you will also analyze communicative language teaching under these headings, yes? What is the approach concept, the purpose, why was it used? Most of the things Dr. Richards already told us. Why did they create or did they develop this vision of having this communicative approach? What is the purpose? He explains to us. What was the purpose? Of communicative language teaching?
Learn the language.
Learn the language, use the language, communicate. Yes. Not learn about the language, not learn the verbs, the structures, but learn the language, use the language. Yes, so you already have some answers there, but you have some more materials to read. So the student, what is the role of the student? Is it passive? Is it active? Yes, language, why is language used? The relationship to theories. Is this approach a theory within the theory of just learning behavior, like behaviorism? Is it an approach based only on cognitivism or on constructivism? So you make those relationships. The role of the teacher, we already talked. What is the role of the teacher? The role of the student as well. Yes, here. And the kind of activities and the elements not to be included, yes, in communicative language teaching. So you already did this last semester with the method. Now you're going to do it with the approach. Go into the bigger picture for one day, for this week. Yes, and you will use a graphic organizer. I have here some other websites to find graphic organizers. I think sometimes I think you have another link from last semester, if that works. Sometimes these links stop working, so I have to change them, but you can use any graphic organizer. Remember, we did that also last semester. You have that fresh. Okay, and then you have two more things to do. Some prompts to discuss. Communication implies understanding, for example. Giving instructions in English in the EFL classroom is communicative language teaching. Whenever you give instructions. Okay, I have to write this small here. What strategies can a teacher use to increase communication in the classroom? And to acquire a language, people need to use the language. Yes, what Dr. Richards was saying, use the language to learn. Yes or no? And finally, you will create a list of 10 important points about communicative language teaching from your readings that you can share with teachers in this area. What do you think the teachers in this area need to remember about communicative language teaching? So we will go through sections. I will send you via WhatsApp web the task for the groups to analyze. Phoebe and Catalina can share the tasks, the document. And in 10 minutes, so analyze it again. Tell me if you have any doubts. So you have all of these sections, okay? So you have this section in which you have to add more activities here that you did in class. You will have access to the materials and some ideas to discuss. And so you have all of these sections. In 10 minutes, we will meet again for you to tell me if you have any doubts. If not, you keep on working, and we come back for a closure at around 20 past 5. And you tell me how much you still have to do on your own. Yes? Do we agree?
Okay.
Okay. So welcome back. And I wanted to tell me, could you understand the task? What you're invited to do?
Yes, but
Okay.
it's difficult for me to understand the authentic communication.
Authentic communication. Think of authentic communication you have everywhere. When you go to, I don't know, when you go to a shop, for example, and you ask, how much is this bottle? How much is this cell phone? That's authentic communication. When you go to the restaurant and you ask, oh, please, do you have chicken and egg salad? So all of those are situations of authentic communication in any language. Yes, in Spanish, in English. Yes, when you are, for example,
go to the bathroom, for example.
Go to the bathroom, yes, when the policeman, for example, we wanted to go out of the subway in the underground in London, but the door was closed. And so there were policemen calling people, no, we are calling people, come this way to get out of the underground. And that's a situation of real life. But then I can also tell the students in the classroom, come this way, come next to the desk, come to the front, let's go to the back of the room to sit down and tell a story, for example. Those are cases of authentic communication because that can also happen in real life. Yes. Mm-hmm. When you ask for food, when you ask for directions, permissions, those are situations of authentic communication. So in that list, remember everything you do or everything that can be done in a situation, in school situation. As we said, repetition of words, repetition of phrases, everything, yes, from there to asking for permission, to asking to close the door. Yes, every cold morning, we used to call, Juanito, please close the door, open the window when it was hot. All of those situations are authentic situations. Okay, so let me check if I have the document at hand. So continue working. Any example that you have, Catalina, in the list?
No, yes, teacher. O sea, tenemos, pero queremos como completar los 10.
Okay. So here to complete all of the situations you have lived as teachers, as students, or you have observed. I have observed teachers and my students in English practicum, for example. I have observed in online communication or in online classes, a lot of metalinguistic analysis of a, I don't know, pronouns, if it was he was walking in the park, or she was cooking salad according to pictures. Lots of metalinguistic analysis, let me tell you. Not only, but I observed a lot. Distinction of vocabulary, as I said, of accuracy in grammar, tenses. If it was present simple, present continuous, just to tell you some of the experiences. Okay, then you have to choose two. You have a video and something to read. You will have this is the chapter of a book, but it's not online, so I will upload it to Educandos. And you will create a way to show this. So you have several different, you have already checked this last semester as well, whether spider web is the most fashionable and common, that you have other graphic organizers to organize information. It can be a chart, also a chart. And then this is your reflection. Yes, so reflect with someone, but you can also reflect alone. Remember that in the finally, when you collect everything on your portfolio, you write your own reflection by the end of each task. Okay, so that is your individual work. But here you're working with others, yes? And the important points about communicative language teaching that you think teachers in this area of Linares will need to know. And next year, when you work with a mentor teacher, you might be able to share this. So we will keep them for next year to share these considerations in order to support this communicative language teaching, in case that is something we believe is what can help students learn the language better. Okay, so there's no right or wrong. We're not imposing anything, but we know that also by law, the ministry of the country and also the authorities that have written materials to teach English try, yes, to not impose, but try to establish some guidance so that language is taught in one way or another in the language according to purposes and objectives they have in the long run, yes, to accomplish in the long run, a largo plazo. Okay, so whenever you feel we are at the end of the class, you know what you have to do. We are going to write the agreements for next class. So in time for reflection, what do you remember we have learned or revised, or what we have discussed? Or if you have something new, what did you learn that was new, for example? Because we revised, we learned something new, we discussed. What would you mention? One thing I learned today. I learned
about authentic. How was it?
Authentic
Authentic
activities in class.
Yes.
Authentic activities that foster English language learning in the classroom. Yes, learning in the classroom. The debates, for example, was another activity from real life. So you have candidates, political candidates debating, and that's an authentic activity that has been transferred to the classroom. Also, not only to learn a language, but also to develop speaking skills in the mother tongue. And that is how debates were used for the first time in the United States at universities or schools, for example. The change of grammar focus to communicative focus. Excellent, exactly. Exactly. Yes, there has been a change, and therefore different countries and ministries of education have adopted one or other approach. But of course, the approach to communicative language teaching has been very pervasive, has been trying to get to our classrooms, yes, and so that our teachers use them more through different methodologies, yes, through CLIL, yes, through task-based or content-based teaching, okay, active learning for sure. Okay, anything else, any question? And you will learn more when you read, watch the videos, they are very accessible. Remember, you're practicing your listening skills. So let us try to focus all our practice, because we have world events, you have a preparation for the exam, and we have this module to focus all our attention on developing the skills, please. And what else? And take notes, yes, always listen, try to focus on everything you already know, yes, one strategy, and take notes. Okay, something you would like to ask for the next class?
Yes, how how much time do we have to
Finish
of the task.
the task finish until next Tuesday because we revise, remember,
Okay.
we revise and we have the new task. So please try to have everything accomplished this week. So you have 1 week
Okay.
at your convenience. Okay, so next class will be the 24th of August. It's a Tuesday again. And so our agreements are finish the task, finish, you have started in groups, so try to collaborate, try to create try to summarize and create the graphic organizer also with someone else. Vanessa. Finish.
Teacher, I have a question about the portfolio or Bitácora. You will upload it?
Yes,
or-
I will upload everything. Yes,
Okay, thank
I
you.
will try to upload today. Yes, so
To try
finish.
to advance and make progress and don't
Yes,
get late.
so as soon as you finish a task, you know, it goes to the copy paste to the, you complete the portfolio. Yes, the best way is that way in which you keep your portfolio active, yes, so that you can finish on time. And last semester, there was a good system of having a midterm revision of portfolios. It was a good idea, since that helped you a lot to have it on time by the end of the year, of the semester. So that was a good practice. I will add that in the lesson plan. So finish a task by task one, finish task one by Tuesday. That was Tuesday. Work on the summary and design of graphic organizer with someone so that you can share in groups also what you have, the graphic organizer you chose and how you completed the information and the information you completed. Yes. Be prepared. Okay. No, at the end, that would be at the end. So work on the summary and design of the graphic organizer with a classmate. Organizer. Be ready to share information. Remember, information sharing activities. Be ready to share information gathered with classmates in class. Next class, with classmates, next class. Okay, so I will upload everything to Educandos. No. And if you have any other question, it is now the moment to ask. Any questions?
Dale, Phoebe.
Vivi?
No, iba a decir que yo no tenía.
Okay. Upload the task to the task created on, you know, the icon of the task created on Educandos.
Teacher, I have a
All right.
question.
Yes.
The Bitácora will be the same or different?
It has the same format, only a different front page. And questions are generally similar, only I can change one sentence, one of the questions to help you think critically on how to develop your future learning process. So it will go a step further than the previous semester.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes. Any other question?
Not for me, teacher.
Okay, so if we are ready then, if there are no more questions, you're ready. Great seeing you again. Have a great week. Organize your time as usual, but you are already knowledgeable on how to do that. So have a great week and see you next week. I'll see you tomorrow in our 1 period class in world events.
You teacher, thank you.
Okay,
Take care.
see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye-bye.